SCP-939, Object Class Keter. SCP-939 are endothermic pack-based predators, which display atrophy of various systems, similar to troglodytic organisms. The skins of SCP-939 are highly permeable to moisture and translucent red, owing to a compound chemically similar to hemoglobin. SCP-939 average 2.2 meters tall standing upright and weigh an average of 250 kilograms, though weight is highly variable. Each of their forelimbs end in three-fingered claws with a fourth opposable digit and are covered in setae, which considerably augment climbing ability. Their heads are elongated, devoid of even vestigial eyes or eye sockets, and contain no brain casing. The jaws of SCP-939 are lined with red, faintly luminescent fang-like teeth, similar to those belonging to the specimens of the genus Chalidus, up to 6 centimeters in length and encircled by heat-sensitive pit organs. Eye spots sensitive to light and dark run the length of their spined dorsal ridges. These spines may be up to 16 centimeters long and are believed to be sensitive to changes in air pressure and flow. SCP-939 do not possess many vital organ systems. Central and peripheral nervous system, circulatory system, and digestive tract are all absent. SCP-939's respiratory system is atrophied and serves no apparent purpose beyond spreading AMCC-227. See below. SCP-939 have no apparent physiological need to feed, nor any way to digest consumed tissue. Ingested material typically accumulates in the respiratory system of SCP-939 and is regurgitated once the amount is sufficient to markedly inhibit its function. Despite the absence of many vital organ systems, SCP-939 are capable of bearing live young. See Addendum 10-16-1991. SCP-939's primary method of luring prey is the imitation of human speech and the voices of prior victims, though imitation of other species in active nocturnal hunts have been documented. SCP-939 vocalizations often imply significant distress. Whether SCP-939 understand their vocalizations or are repeating previously heard phrases is the subject of ongoing study. How SCP-939 acquire voices is not currently understood. Specimens have been documented imitating victims, despite never hearing the victims speak. Analysis of SCP-939 vocalizations cannot distinguish between SCP-939 and samples of known victims' voices. The use of biometric voice recognition, security, or identification systems at any installation housing SCP-939 is strongly discouraged for this reason. Prey usually killed with a single bite to the cranium or neck. Bite forces have been measured in excess of 35 MPa. SCP-939 exhale minute traces of an aerosolized Class C amnestic, designated AMC-C227. AMN-C227 causes temporary anterograde amnesia, inhibiting memory formation for the duration of exposure, plus an average of 30 minutes. It is colorless, odorless, and tasteless, with an estimated ECT50 for inhalation of 0.0015 milligrams a minute meter cubed. In well-ventilated or open-air environments, risk of exposure to ECT50 is greatly reduced but not negligible. AMN-C227 is typically undetectable. AMN-C227 is typically undetectable in the bloodstream 60 minutes following cessation of exposure. Reported sensations of disorientation and mild hallucinations immediately following removal from environments saturated with the agent are similar to recreational use of numerous psychoactive substances and easily mistaken as such. Note: March 23, 2005. This report pertains to morphology alpha. For information regarding morphology beta, see Experiment Log 914, AMTF New 7, After Action Report. Addendum, June 29, 1987. Preliminary research into AMN-C227 suggests potential for use as a general-purpose amnestic. Methods of mass-producing the agent, as well as possible adverse effects, are being investigated at Biocontainment and Research Site 06. Addendum, September 20th, 1991. Containment of 9 SCP-939 specimens has been compromised following a Silent Night breach scenario at Biocontainment and Research Site 06. Nearby civilian settlements have been evacuated on the pretense of a coming storm. Recovery teams have been deployed to the area. Addendum, October 16, 1991. In light of this, all interaction with SCP-939 from September 8th to October 7th in the Northern Hemisphere or March 6th to April 4th in the Southern Hemisphere is strictly forbidden. No male specimens of SCP-939 have yet been identified. Contain a Class B amnestic. See Reproduction of SCP-939. Addendum, February 20th, 1992. Effective immediately, use of AMN-C227 as an amnestic is suspended indefinitely. Consult Incident Report AMN-C227-939 for further information. Reproduction of SCP-939. Document Number 939-00-62. Reproduction of SCP-939. On September 25, 1992, SCP-939-1 gave birth following a gestation period of roughly 12 months. Litter SCP-939-A contains 6 specimens, numbered SCP-939-A1 to SCP-939-A6. A1, A4, and A5 were male, while A3 and A6 were female. A2 was stillborn and immediately cannibalized by -1. -1 made no attempts to interfere with the confiscation of its offspring. Vivisection of A1, A3, A4, and A5 found them to be morphologically and genotypically indistinguishable from healthy human infants. The remains of A1 and A3 are kept preserved in biological materials storage units 939-026C and 939-026D, respectively, within Bioresearch Area 12. Remains of A4 and A5 were incinerated. A6 will be transferred to for observation as it matures. It will undergo monthly physical examination, supplemented with any additional measures deemed necessary. Document Number 939-A6-16. Transfer of Dr. Note: March 16, 1997. After overhearing numerous conversations between personnel, A6 has come to believe its name is Keter. Given the marked positive effect on its mood, staff are advised to neither encourage nor discourage this assumption. Both its mental and physical development have remained consistent with human norms. Document number 939-A6-33. Emergency Medical Log SCP-939-A6. Date: January 9th, 2001. At approximately 2000 hours, A6 began acting increasingly unsettled. When questioned, it reported a sense of malaise. Breathing was observed to be rapid and shallow. A6 was escorted to the medical ward for further examination. Heart rate was measured to be erratic, averaging 190 beats per minute. No further anomalies were observed. A6 was administered a benzodiazepine and returned to containment. Probable panic attack. Trigger undetermined. Date: January 10th, 2001. At approximately 0430 hours, SCP-939-A6 reported the same symptoms, accompanied by a mild headache and aversion to light. Examination returned identical results to the previous day. A6 instructed to rest, administered a sedative, and returned to containment. Date: January 24th, 2001. Symptoms outlined above persisted for 2 weeks before intensifying. A6 destroyed the lighting fixture in its enclosure and was found to have assumed the fetal position underneath its bed at 140 hours. A6 staunchly resisted leaving its chamber, requiring it to be carried to area medical ward. It complained of a severe headache, intense aversion to light, hypersensitivity to auditory stimuli, intense chest and abdominal pain, and uncomfortable warmth, commenting that it hurt too much to cry. A6's core body temperature measured to be 41.2 degrees Celsius. Technicians were unable to locate a pulse. MRI indicated a reinforced concrete containment cell was immediately prepared for A6. The cell's lighting was dimmed and a large basin full of water provided at its request. Date: January 26, 2001. A6 immersed itself in the provided water basin and remained inactive for a period of approximately 41 hours, at which point it began violently tearing at its skin. It displayed a considerable amount of distress upon realizing its skin was sloughing off, but appeared unable to stop. At 22:36 hours, Dr. reported A6's head detached itself. By 2240 hours, it appeared morphologically identical to, albeit much smaller than, -1. Addendum, February 13th, 2001. A6 has been redesignated SCP-939-101. It will be transferred to Bioresearch Area 12 for further study. Document number 939-101-77. Audio log 939-101A, number 13. Begin log 10:16 hours, May 22nd, 2004. Access to Cryogenic Preservation Room 939-101 granted to Dr. Access to CGPT 939-101A granted. Excuse me, mister. Why are we here? It's bitterly cold, and we would like to go home now. We're very late for our bedtime, and we're very sorry. We didn't mean it. Have you seen our pictures? We like drawing. Daddy hung them on the wall, except for sometimes when the others in white coats took them away. Daddy told us not to draw pictures like those. They made him sad, so we did our best to draw other things, but sometimes we forgot. Sometimes Daddy hid the pictures or ripped them up. He told us it wasn't that he didn't like them. He said it was to keep us safe from the mean doctors in the white coats. But then the doctors took Daddy away. They made us get shots and told us to forget about Daddy. But we're scared of needles without Daddy around. We didn't forget Daddy. Daddy forgot us, though. We think it was the doctor's fault. Daddy wouldn't forget about us, would he? They gave us a fake Daddy and told us it was real Daddy, but we knew better. The doctors made us get more shots. They kept telling us fake Daddy was real Daddy, but they couldn't fool us. We told him it was wrong to lie, just like Daddy told us. And then they stopped lying. They made us be by ourselves, but they gave us paper and pencils and paints and told us we could draw wherever we wanted, so we did. Sometimes we drew Daddy. Sometimes we drew what Daddy told us not to draw. The doctors took all our pictures. Sometimes the doctors in the white coats and the people with the big back shirts with lots of pockets and helmets that carried bent windows and what did Daddy call them? I forgot. They walked with us down the hall for our checkups. We didn't like those. Sometimes we had to lay in a dark place and be really, really still. Daddy would tell us stories. We didn't always understand them, but we liked them anyway. There were stories about places that didn't have ceilings, where up was forever, and the ground wasn't white. We think it's silly. Everywhere has ceilings, doesn't it? After the doctors took Daddy away, we didn't get to hear stories anymore. Then, we didn't feel good. The doctors made us get lots of checkups, and we think they got scared, so we got scared too. We had a really bad headache, and the lights bothered us, and so did noises. We wanted to find lots of cool water away from the bright lights until our headache went away. They let us be in the dark and gave us lots of water, but the water made us itch all over. When we scratched, sometimes our skin came off. We were so scared. We kept asking for Daddy, but he never showed up. Eventually, we didn't have any skin left, but it was okay because we didn't need that anymore. We stopped itching after that. The lights stopped bothering us so much and the headache went away after our old head came off. Lights still bother us, but not as much as they did. We don't see right anymore. We got so hungry. It was bad, but we ate our old skin and our old head. It tasted good, but it was still bad. We were still hungry after that and asked for food. They gave us food, even our favorites, but none of it tasted right to us. All that tasted good was one piece of meat. We asked for more of that. They locked 2 people in the dark with us. We asked them not to, but they didn't listen to us. We weren't hungry for a while after that, but we're hungry now. We're very sorry. We know lying is wrong. We didn't mean it. End log 10:37 hours. Footnotes 1. Several researchers who participated in the vivisections subsequently requested Class B amnestics. It should be standard policy to grant these requests after all relevant data has been collected. 05. Special Containment Procedures SCP-939-1, 3, 19, 53, 89, 96, 98, 99, and 109 are kept in cell 1163-A or -B, 10 meters by 10 meters by 3 meters containment chambers within Armed Biocontainment Area 14. Both cells are environmentally regulated and negatively pressurized, with walls constructed of reinforced concrete. Access to these cells is regulated by an outer decontamination chamber and inner gas-tight steel security doors. Observation windows are constructed of laminated ballistics glass, 10 centimeters in thickness, protected by a 10 kilovolt electrified mesh. Humidity is maintained at 100% at a temperature of 16 degrees Celsius. Specimens are monitored at all times via infrared cameras. Level 4 authorization is required to access SCP-939, their containment areas, or the observation chambers. SCP-939-101 is dismembered and stored in cryogenic preservation tanks 939-101-A to 101-M within Bioresearch Area 12. Access to 101 requires authorization by 2 Clearance Level 3 personnel, one of which must be present for all research and testing. The contents of only one 101 tank may be accessed at any given time. Core temperature of 101 tissues must be monitored while removed from cryogenic preservation. Should core temperature exceed 10 degrees Celsius, tissues are to be returned to their corresponding tank and all testing suspended for a period of 72 hours. Barring core temperature exceeding 10 degrees Celsius, research of 101 tissues may continue as long as its ramblings and pleas for release may be tolerated. Containment cells should be cleaned bi-weekly. While this takes place, SCP-939 specimens will be transferred to the adjacent cell. During this time, the cell's door and observation window must be inspected for damage and repaired or replaced accordingly. Heavy sedation of all SCP-939 is required before any interaction, including transfer between cells and experimentation, may take place. See document number 939-TE4 for transfer and experimentation protocol. Level C hazmat gear is to be worn by personnel during interactions with SCP-939 specimens and in any areas which SCP-939 have been known to inhabit. Afterwards, standard decontamination procedures are to be observed by all personnel involved to ensure no secondary spread of amnestic agents occurs. Following incident, ABCA 14-939-3, all non-D class personnel interacting with SCP-939 for any length of time are required to wear 2 waterproof electronic pulse monitors for the duration of such interaction. These pulse monitors will transmit to a wireless monitoring system independent of a facility's main power grid, with at least 1 backup power system on standby. Should both an individual's pulse monitors flatline or otherwise malfunction, the wearer will be presumed dead. Personnel instructed to disregard all the wearer's subsequent vocalizations, and a breach of containment declared automatically. Security personnel responding to such a breach are likewise required to wear these pulse monitors. Additionally, all live SCP-939 must be implanted with subdermal tracking devices upon capture.